Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joel Hyppönen, and if you're watching this video, the chances are you already shoot with a Canon camera. In this video, I want to talk about this lens, the Canon RF 28-70mm, and what I personally like and dislike about this so far. I am not the first person to talk about this lens, but I want to bring some of my personal points and show you sample images so you can hopefully make a better decision whether or not this lens is worth your money. And by the way, welcome to my new home studio space. The daylight is almost gone, so I got myself this little light, which to be honest makes me feel like I'm in a tanning bed or something. But anyways, let's get started. First off, let's address this lens is a really heavy beast. It's 1,430 grams to be precise, which means it's 3.15 pounds. And for the reference, that means it's almost exactly 2 times the R5 body, just this lens alone. And together with the R5, it makes 2.2 kilos. So if you think about a full day of shooting, the lens does feel really solid, as it should. And it has the clean, classic Canon matte black look. Comes with the control ring that you can adjust to your preferred use. I took my first photos with this lens on my previous trip to Svalbard, and I was immediately very impressed of how good quality this glass has. On that trip, I was shooting with this lens from very early morning until late evening, and with the f2.0 aperture, it had absolutely no problem getting very nice and sharp images without bumping the ISO too much. Before getting sidetracked here, let's dive straight into the pros and cons I've found so far. So the first obvious thing is the focal length being 28-70mm lens, which pretty much automatically makes this very versatile lens. Think of having 28, 35, 50, and 85mm lens all in one. The reason I say 85, even though the top focal length actually is 70mm, is that you can just use the 70 and crop in 25%, and boom, you got your crisp, clean, very nice 85mm shot without losing quality in any noticeable way. I could see this being super useful lens for wedding, documentary, and portrait photographers, because instead of carrying a bag full of primes, you can get the quality of primes in just having this one lens on. So if you are like me and trying to always optimize the total weight of the camera bag, I think that is a really strong point to evaluate for yourself. Aside from that, this lens performs extremely well in various lighting conditions thanks to the continuous f2 aperture. And also it comes with a really good weather sealing, and for me personally that is a big deal. I shoot primarily outdoors, so having the peace of mind that this lens could probably handle a small rainstorm is just one less thing to worry about. Damn it, overheating. Maybe the strongest selling point for this lens, I think, is still the image quality. A lot of people have said this is probably the sharpest and best zoom lens Canon has ever made, and so far I'm not disagreeing with that. And it is optimized to work with the R systems, so there is really no visible chromatic aberration or any weirdness going on around the edges. The amount of glass inside really shows after you punch into those files and do some pixel peeping, but I think it's hard to imagine many people needing to ask for more than this setup provides. The last big plus is that the lens is so fun to use for both photo and video. On that trip, we had pretty run and gun style, and if I only had one lens on, I would have had no problem. The lens does not have image stabilization, but if you are shooting Canon EOS R system already, in the R5, R6, there already is in-body image stabilization, so you are all set. On the negative side, I think there are a few important things that definitely should be addressed. The fact is that this lens comes with a price tag of roughly $3,000 US, and for comparison, you can get the 24-70mm 2.8 for $1,000 cheaper. The second downside is definitely the size and the weight. It isn't a problem necessarily, but I think it's something really good to keep in mind if you're like me who does a lot of hiking and outdoor things. So you have to be mindful of how much weight you bring with you. So now you might be asking, who is this lens actually for? And I think first and foremost, it's for someone who probably has been using lots of prime lenses, but wants to minimize the weight and still not compromise any of the quality. The second thing is someone who shoots a lot in low light situations. This, I think, is probably the most versatile fast glass for Canon shooters. And the last, if you are already using Canon RF systems and want to future-proof your setup for the next few years, I think the RF lenses are a really good investment and they will for sure hold their value for a good while. So who is this lens not for? If you don't exactly need a really fast lens and you already have a selection of other lenses, I think your money is probably better spent on something like a fun road trip with your friends, or I don't know, Amazon stock. If you are still considering pulling the trigger and spending $3K on this lens, I would highly recommend for you to rent it out for a few days and really have a good feel of if this is something you really need. If you already are convinced about this lens or you already have it, I would definitely love to hear down in the comments, what do you enjoy shooting the most with this lens? If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more videos. The next video is coming very soon and I'm actually going to give away a camera. So hit the bell if you want to get notified on that one. But that's it for today and thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Peace. I got some mud pie in my eye.